You are listening to the Healthy Happy Mommy podcast, episode number 47.
You are listening to the Healthy Happy Mommy podcast with Nikki Lee Gorovich, the faith, health, and business style podcast for Christian boss moms, so you can train from a fellow mompreneur and other experts how to run your business, raise your babies, and maintain your health, all while keeping God at the center of it all. Here's your host, organic obsessed, crazy chicken lady, and world's okayest mom, Nikki Lee Gorovich.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Healthy Happy Mommy podcast. So if you're listening to this in real time, it is Saturday, May 12th, 2018, and tomorrow is Mother's Day for those of us who celebrate in America. If you're listening to this in another country, I don't know if you have a Mother's Day, like celebration day in your country, but if you celebrate on the same day as we do, happy Mother's Day to those of you who are mothers. And if you're not, I hope that this episode will help you to be encouraged if you're trying to become a mother, or maybe you're a mother in a different facet of life. Maybe you're a stepmother, maybe you're like an aunt or a grandmother who takes care of kids, or her grandkids or her niece or nephew, and you're like their mother. Maybe you're a man who is the mom because maybe your wife is not in the picture, or maybe the child's mother is not in the picture. I just want to encourage you guys with this message from one mother to another, from one, just woman trying to figure things out to another. And the thing is that I was thinking about this message, and I was thinking about what I wanted to say. And, I was kind of just praying about it, and I'm like, God, give me the words. Give me the message that you want these people to hear. Because I'll tell you that sometimes it's hard to sit here and think, what do I talk about this week? What should I say? What should I encourage people with today? What do they want to hear about? And I was thinking of doing a Mother's Day topic, of course, because tomorrow's Mother's Day, and this is the Healthy Happy Mommy podcast. So, of course, it's about mothers. But when I was thinking about it, it's like, okay, of course I want to do something about mothers, but what should I say? What's going to help them? What's going to give them some sort of inspiration or encouragement? Because that's my goal with this podcast, is to encourage you guys and inspire you guys, and to just kind of give you that ray of hope, and to know that you're not alone, to know that you're not the only one going through struggles and hard times. And, there's somebody else out there with you that is also going through it. My son is 7. I have 2 stepchildren. So I have an 11-year-old stepdaughter, a 9-year-old stepson, and then my son who's 7. So I am in that area of time where it's like I went through the young stage, and now I'm going into preteen years with some of them, and the others, it's just like, it's difficult. And I know that it's going to get more difficult as they get older, but some days is so rewarding, and other days you just want to put them in some sort of like closet and be like, don't come out, because mommy needs a break. Sometimes you just need a break, and I get that. But I feel like a lot of times women and society is not allowing us to really be honest with how we sometimes feel about the struggle of being a mom, and how hard it can be, and how taxing it can be. And, you see all these, people saying and stuff on Facebook and all these other social media outlets about self-care and, take care of yourself and love yourself and yada, yada, yada. And, you'll feel better. And I'm all about, making sure that you are caring for yourself so that you have something to give, because you can't really pour from an empty cup. You have to make sure that you're filled up so that you can, be fueled to give from your overflow and not from your empty gas tank, basically. But I feel like that's it's a good concept, but there's a couple things wrong with it. The first thing is that we're kind of leaving God out of it, because if we're focusing on taking our abilities and saying like, yes, we can make ourselves feel better by caring for ourselves and loving ourselves and doing all this, we're not really seeking God, and we're not really relying on him to be the one that fills us up. And a lot of times God wants us to, he doesn't necessarily bring us to the place where we are in a surrendered spot. Sometimes he does, but sometimes he allows us to get to that place where we're like throwing our hands up thinking, I have no clue what I'm doing. I need help. Sometimes he brings us there, and sometimes he allows us to get there so that we start to rely on him, so that we start to come to surrender and say, Lord, I need your help. I need to feel comforted by you right now. I need to feel like you're with me, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I'm feeling at a place where I'm not at peace. I'm feeling stressed out, and society will tell us that when we're feeling that way, that we should, rely on our own strength to feel better, that we should, do self-care practices and self-love practices and all this kind of stuff. And again, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but it is leaving God out of it. And it's more about relying on ourselves than relying on God. And that is definitely not what we want to be doing. If we are Christians, we want to be relying on God and his strength and what he wants to show us in these times of stress and overwhelm, and just feeling like you don't know where to turn. This is the time where, we need to be focusing on him and his abilities and his strength. And so what I want to kind of talk about is like that, yes, Mother's Day is a time where we are celebrating the moms in our lives. We're celebrating, if we're a mom, we're getting celebrated by our kids. We're getting celebrated by our spouse, if we have one. And it's kind of difficult from one mom to another, and I'm sure you would agree. It's kind of difficult at times to appreciate this day and to really relax on the day and really feel like you're getting what you deserve on this day, if I'm being completely honest, because as a mom, you're the one that's normally used to doing everything, right? You're the one most likely cleaning the house, cooking the meals, taking care of everybody, doing everything for everybody. Maybe you're doing the laundry, maybe you're doing most of the work around the house. And so to wrap your mind around taking a day off for yourself, and to, wrap your mind around like, not cooking for the day or not doing anything. It's like, it's hard. It could be hard for you to really relax on Mother's Day. Maybe you don't have somebody who can help you with the household stuff, so you are forced to do all this stuff. Like, for example, my husband was supposed to be at work tomorrow, but I told him, we were talking about it last month, and I said, not for nothing, but Mother's Day is not really that relaxing for me if you're working, because my son is 7, so he's still needy of me, and he still needs me to do things for him and, cook food and take care of the house, and he can't really do very much for me at his age. So Mother's Day to me would be like any other day if my husband wasn't home. because he's not home to take care of the house and to cook dinner and to cook meals and kind of let me relax on that day. So I totally understand if you're in a position where you don't have somebody that's home that can, let you relax on Mother's Day. So you might be feeling overwhelmed and feeling like, well, Mother's Day is just another day for me because I don't have anybody to help me, or maybe you do have people to help you, but you are you're the kind of person who has a hard time relaxing and letting other people take care of you. So I get that. I get that 100%. But what I'm hoping that we can understand from this is that God does want us to relax. He does want us to take that time for rest. He does want us to be able to reflect on him and on the blessings that we have, and the fact that there are so many people in this world that would love to be a mother and that can't be a mother, or maybe they used to be a mother and they're no longer a mother because of loss or some other reasons, and it's just extremely painful for them on a day like this. So God wants us, I feel he wants us to into perspective what is really happening. Maybe you're stressed out right now because you've got a messy house and your kids are running amok and you just want to relax and you feel guilty about that. But in the big scheme of things, if that's your worst situation, I mean, it's not that bad compared to somebody who is mourning the loss of a child, or mourning the inability to get pregnant on Mother's Day. It can be really, really painful a day like this, where some people are so joyful and happy and thankful to celebrate Mother's Day. Some people are really in a lot of pain. So I just want us to be a little bit sensitive to that, and to also be sensitive to the fact that if you are blessed enough to be a mother and you are blessed enough to have this family and have these children that truly are blessings, even though sometimes it feels like all you are is like a taxi service and a chef and a maid, because I get that. Without them, you would feel this sense of loss, this emptiness, this void, because being a mother is such a blessing. And I understand that we're so shuffled through life, and every single day is like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And a lot of times we miss the moments, and we miss those days, and we miss the importance of, watching our kids grow up and, seeing their first steps or their first words. And, we see it, but then it's like, or maybe we're at work because we're busy providing for the family, and you miss those times. And, or you're not for nothing, your nose is in your phone and you miss important stuff because you're too busy scrolling on social media to be paying attention to your kids. And I'm not judging. I am right there with you sometimes. I am definitely guilty of this. But to me, I have this heavy burden on me because I feel like, it's so easy to get wrapped up in guilt. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the everyday mundane tasks that you have to do, and then you feel guilty that you didn't spend time with your kids. And then Mother's Day comes along and you're supposed to be praised for all you do, but maybe you feel guilty for what you've been doing, or maybe you just feel like it's not enough, I can never do enough. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling on this episode, but I'm just speaking from my heart. I don't have any notes or anything. I just feel like the right person who needs this message will hear it the right way. But I just, sometimes there's this feeling of guilt, but then there's the feeling of how is one day to celebrate all that we do as mothers good enough? How is that enough? How is that possible? How is it possible that a mother who has given life to another human being and who does literally everything for them, to take care of them, to feed them, to clothe them, to comfort them, she loses sleep. She is up taking care of the kids every day, in and out. She never takes breaks. She can't take a sick day. She can't escape being a mother. I mean, there are women who do, of course, but for the most part, us mothers, we don't ever get a break from that. And it's like, sometimes you're like, how is one day enough? How is one day to celebrate mom enough? And like I said, you might have Mother's Day and it might not even be anything special for you because nobody's doing anything for you, or nobody is there to help you relax, or your kids aren't old enough yet to appreciate you. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of like annoying, honestly, to feel like, okay, well, yeah, tomorrow's Mother's Day, but it's just going to be like any other day. And sometimes you feel like, when am I going to get what I deserve almost? Like, I deserve to be praised. I deserve to have, like, my kids appreciate me for once. I do all this stuff for them and I deserve to get appreciated. And that's a really, like, easy mindset to get stuck in. And it's an honest mindset, because I think that we all have been there before in our lives. But what I want to encourage you with is a Bible verse from Colossians 3:24 that might help you, because it says that, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward, you are serving the Lord Christ. So if we're taking that a little bit out of context, but basically what it's saying is, like, do your due diligence now, do your work now, what you are doing, like all of the stuff that seems like those mundane tasks, all of the things that seem like they're for nothing, like all the laundry you're doing, all the dishes you're cleaning, you're constantly picking up after your kids. And I'm saying that with my eyes rolling in the back of my head right now, because I literally, just before I recorded this episode, I was picking up after my son, and I'm like telling him, I'm like, pick up your toys. There's Legos everywhere. Literally, like Legos upon Legos upon Legos all over the place. Under things, in my shoes, in my purse. There's just Legos everywhere. And I'm like, why is it so hard for you to pick up your toys? Just pick them up. No matter what you do, you try to get the house clean, and you finally have it all clean after working so hard, and then your child comes down and starts making a mess again. And it's like, what in the actual heck are you even thinking? Like, I just spent all afternoon cleaning this house and you're just making it a mess again. So it's easy to feel frustrated and to feel overwhelmed and be like, why am I even bothering? Why am I even doing this? You do all these dishes, you make dinner, you sleeve over a nice dinner, you do all the dishes, and then somebody comes along and drops more dishes in the sink and doesn't bother cleaning them. They just leave them for you, or they forget to thank you for dinner, or they don't say that it's good, or they complain about it, even worse. And it's like you constantly feel like you're the one doing all the work, that you don't have the appreciation, you don't have the love, you don't have the thoughtfulness from your kids, sometimes from your spouse. It's just hard and it's frustrating, and I get it. But if we change our perspective and think about this Bible verse, that we know that we will receive the inheritance from the Lord as our reward, and that when we're doing these works, we are actually serving Jesus, instead of thinking of it as, just doing mundane tasks for no reason, just, one more piece of clothing that I'm folding, one more thing that I'm doing. If we work as unto the Lord, if we work as though we're serving Jesus, then it changes the perspective, and it makes us it gives it more of a purpose, right? And I know that it can sound weird and silly to say, well, how am I folding these clothes for Jesus? Like, what does he care? What does he care about me folding these clothes? Like, he has more, important things to think about, bigger fish to fry, than me feeling overwhelmed about all the laundry that I have. But the thing is God cares about every little aspect of our lives. He's infinite, he's omnipresent, and he knows everything. And he's not limited to time or space or anything like that. So he is with us. He is dwelling with us, and he does want to be part of our lives. He does want to be part of every little aspect of our lives, even the stuff that doesn't seem significant. He wants us to invite him into every aspect of our lives so that we can see that the things that he has us doing is for a good and for purpose. Maybe right now you're struggling over, all the tasks that you have at home, all the things that you have to do, the messy house and everything. But in that moment, instead of feeling overwhelmed and stressed out, turning to God and praying in that moment, saying, Lord, show me your peace right now. Show me what it is that you would have me focus on right now in this moment. Instead of feeling stressed out and overwhelmed, help me just feel your peace and rest in the fact that you have my best interests at heart, and you do know what you're doing, and you have not forgotten me. Help me to feel your presence right now. Help me to feel your peace in this situation so that I might not waste the moments that you've given me, because truly we all are going to die. We have limited breath. We could go at any moment. We don't know when our last day will be. So for us to sit around and kind of whine and complain about all the mundane tasks that we have and all the cleaning and all the chores and the mothering that we have to do that is supposed to be a blessing but sometimes feels like such a burden, if we focus on the fact that we are all going to go to heaven one day and not be here, it kind of changes the perspective of like, let me do what I can do as best as I can do while I'm here. Let me be that Proverbs 31 woman who, it talks about how she is clothed in strength and dignity and does not laugh with fear, or laughs without fear of the future. That's it. I'm not looking at it, but it says she laughs without fear of the future. Basically, she knows who she is. She knows where she's going. She's up every day and she's working hard unto the Lord. She's serving her family. She's serving God through her family. And, a lot of the ways God talks to us is through our family. So if he's giving you the opportunity to serve your family, even your kids, it's actually giving us that opportunity to serve Jesus, because he said that if you give water to even the least of these, you are giving it to me. So when we're serving our family, even though it feels like it's not appreciated and then it goes overlooked, God does not ever overlook us. He does not ever see us as less than, or he never thinks that, it's not good enough. If we're diligently serving him and trying our best to just have that heart towards Jesus, he will do the rest. He will fill in the gaps where we lack. So we never have to feel like we aren't good enough. I get that it's so overwhelming sometimes, and that, you have work, you have a busy schedule, you're trying to get out of the house and your kids won't put their shoes on, or maybe you just made a nice breakfast and they don't like it and they want something different, and now you're being set back a half hour because they need to eat before they leave. But it's like, oh my gosh, is there another thing that we can put on my plate right now? But if we decide that we are going to accept what is, face this situation, and do the best we can, it's like it gives you that peace. Instead of yelling at your kids and being like, just do it because I said to do it. It's like, and by the way, that is so me most of the time. I'm speaking right now from a peaceful position, but when I'm stressed out, I am the least patient person there is. And so I get what I'm even talking about, because I know what it's like to be overwhelmed and, feeling that way. But if we try to take a breath and to pray and be like, Lord, please help me in this. Please help me not feel stressed out and overwhelmed. Help me to see my kids as blessings and not as burdens. Please help me to see that I have been given a great gift by being allowed to be the mother of these kids. Please change my perspective. That kind of prayer and heart towards God will change your mindset about the situation. It will take away that stress and overwhelm of being like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with one more thing on my plate right now. And God does give us that guidance and strength and patience when we ask him for it and when we, really do seek him. So I want to encourage you that if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling stressed out and you're feeling underappreciated, it is normal. It's very normal to feel that way. It's very common because I'm 100% sure that most moms feel that way as well. Most moms do. Because like I said, how can one day just be enough, right? How can one day out of all the stuff that we do be enough? And it really isn't. It's really not. But we will receive the inheritance when we get to heaven. We will receive the reward when we get to heaven. And God is giving us what we need while we're here, but he has so much greater plan for us in the next life. And I know that might not sound like it's good enough or, but what about now? But again, if we're focusing on the task at hand, if we're focusing on serving Jesus and asking him to give us that strength and that humility and that patience and the love, I think it'll take away our need to feel so appreciated, right? Because it's just human nature to not always feel like you're getting what you deserve. I mean, a lot of people feel that way, and a lot of people do have that happen to them. You're not really getting what you deserve. It happens at work, it happens with your family, it happens all over the place. But let's just remember that even though motherhood is scary, even though it is overwhelming and it's, sometimes a thankless job, we have a very important job to do to raise these children upright. It's like a charge from the Lord. He blessed you with these children. He blessed you with the ability to be a mother. Like I said, there's so many people who would die to be a mother. So we have such a very strong responsibility to raise these kids right. And I pray that you would see that you're the example for your kids so that everything you do is setting the example for them. And I just pray that you would find peace this Mother's Day, that you would find peace in the Lord, that you would seek him, that you would take time for yourself to really just quietly seek him and ask him for strength and ask him for that patience and that time to just reflect on all that he's given you and all that he's strengthened you with, all the times that you didn't think you could do it and you got through it because you're strong, because he's given you that strength. And if you're struggling this Mother's Day, if you're suffering from loss, if you're grieving a loss or grieving the inability to be pregnant, I pray for you. I truly do pray for you. I pray that the peace that passes all understanding would rest on you this Mother's Day, that the Holy Spirit would just infiltrate your life and infiltrate your heart and make you feel at peace, because he does comfort us as though a mother would comfort her child. I don't remember that verse, but it's a verse. And the thing is that when we ask him to, when we seek him, when we rely on him and not on ourselves, he does promise to give us that peace and give us that comfort that we so long for. So I pray that you have a great Mother's Day. I pray that this encouraged you. Please share it if you have people in your life that need an encouraging word for this Mother's Day, please share it out. And I just hope that you get to relax, that you have the time with your family that you're able to spend with them, and that you do have a peaceful, relaxing, loving Mother's Day. So until next week, I'll talk to you then. Bye.